YouTube, it's me, Bergie, and I am here with a video commemorating my 2-year anniversary, which happened on October 9th, so 2 days ago. I'm only just sitting down to do the video now because I was kind of busy. I had other stuff to do. But now I have time to record a video that is not going to be really book review-ish or like a review that I usually do. It's just going to be me talking to you guys about my history of reading and what made me the reader I am today. So let's jump in because I have a feeling I might be rambling for a bit. So, first off, I don't really know how I got into reading. I'm sure it's because my mom, she loved to read and therefore had like tons of books throughout our house. I remember always living with like so many books in our house. So I guess just through like osmosis, I kind of like just wanted to read because they were all there and I had nothing else to do. So yeah. As well, when I was like really young and we still lived in New York, which we moved when I was 3, so when I was about like 1, 2, probably closer to 2, my mom would always bring me to a library. I don't remember which one, but they had like a whole bunch of different like reading programs or something for little kids. Like, imagine those classic scenes in movies where like they have a little sit around little kids sitting around someone who's reading a book. That's how I imagine it. I don't remember really. I just know that my mom took me to the library and I remember enjoying it. Now, once we moved to Pennsylvania and I went into preschool, I started reading there. Like most kids do, they learn to read in preschool. Well, not to be a bit cocky, but I was kind of ahead of my other fellow students when I was in preschool. When it comes to reading, at least, I remember being taken away from the other group of people who were learning how to read basic sentences, and I remember having like this big book. I'm pretty sure it was like a huge book of fairy tales or something, and I would be reading it to the teacher, or I even think it was the teacher's son, who was older than us obviously, and I would read it to him. I think that's how it is. My memory, I might be wrong, and I might be spouting shit, but that's what I remember. I do remember though for sure that one day in preschool I read, is it called Goodnight Moon? If I remember to, or if I find a picture of the book, I'll put it here, because that kind of was the first book I remember actually reading and holds a place in my heart. But yeah, I remember reading that to the class, and I felt special because I was the only one who did that. At least I'm the only one, or I remember only me doing that. Maybe other people did it once they got farther along, but I felt pretty damn proud, and I don't have other things to be proud of, so I was proud of the fact that I started reading earlier than the other kids. Now, from that time on, I did read books, mostly smaller picture books, of course, because I was younger. I mean, I did read Junie B. Jones, I think it was. I think those were the bigger books that I read between like kindergarten and 4th grade. But once 4th grade hit, that kind of was like a momentous time in my life. The reading teacher that we had, he would always read books aloud to us. And I didn't find this out until later, but they were kind of way above our supposed reading level. So that was just amazing that he like read those books and that we actually understood them. And honestly, I can tell you those books off the top of my head right now. We read Holes by Louis Satcher. We read Walking on the Cracks. I don't know who that's by. We read, no, not Holes. It was Hoot. It was Hoot. We read Holes the year before. Sorry. So we read Hoot, Stepping on the Cracks, And the last one I remember was The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle, which that book I know was definitely above our reading level because we read it again in 7th grade, which I was like, I already read this. Why do I have to read this again? Why can't we read more books? But nobody else really. I think there was only 2 other people from my elementary school in that class, so we had to read that book again. But yeah, just having that teacher read those books to us, that made me love books a lot more, and I really appreciate that. I mean, my mom, even though she was a book reader, she never really read aloud, and I can understand why. I try reading aloud sometimes when I'm alone, and it's kind of hard to just do that. My mouth just goes like that, so I can understand why she didn't read, or because like I always read faster than reading out loud, so I can understand that. But it was nice to have our 4th grade teacher read out loud to us. It was really nice, and it made me love books. So also my probably from 1st grade to 5th grade, our elementary school had this thing called the MS Readathon. Now for it, you would read a book, write it down. Once I got older, each chapter kind of was its different book because a lot of the kids, they didn't read big books in elementary school. So we would write that down, and we would try to get people to sponsor us, and for like every book we read, they would give us like $1, like 50 cents or something like that, and it would be raise money for MS research. And also, of course, if you reached a certain number goal, each number goal, they had different prizes. So like say you raised $500, you would get a prize from the $100 mark, the $200 mark, the $300 mark, the $400 mark, and the $500 mark. So you would essentially be getting 5 gifts. So a lot of people did it for that, and I can't lie, I did it for that as well. However, my main reason for doing it was because I know someone very close to me who has MS. I don't know if they want me to say it. I haven't asked, but yes, I know someone really close to me who has MS, and I really just wanted to raise money for that. So because of that, and because of my competitive nature, which you guys know if you've seen me with my Rick Riordan uploads, I'm very competitive, so I always wanted to raise the most. And each year, from 1st grade to 5th grade, I raised the most money, and that made me really feel good. And I kind of wish like my junior high and my high school kind of did that as well, or because it was a really cool thing. And honestly, even though I did enjoy the prizes, I would have done it just to raise the money too. So that helped me read that helped my reading history because it forced me to read as many books as I could in a short amount of time. And let me tell you, I'm sure a lot of students, they probably just wrote down different books and they didn't actually read them. I read every single book that I put on that list each year. I did not lie, so yes, that made me proud too. So yeah, that was a huge part as well. And I really wish, again, that I can find a way to keep on doing that, or I don't know, do something similar to that, because that really made me feel like a good person. And it made me happy because I was reading all the time and it was doing something to help others. So that was nice. Now, the summer after 5th grade, so in between 5th and 6th grade, I started reading Harry Potter. Now, I tried reading Harry Potter since probably 3rd or 4th grade, but I just couldn't do it. But December between 5th and 6th grade was just the right time, I guess, for me to actually read it. So I read the first couple of books. I don't remember how many were out. I'm guessing it was only the first 3 or 4, because I remember distinctly that I read the 5th book. I was reading the 5th book when the 5th movie came out, and I was really angry because I had like only 100 pages left before I finished the book, and we went to see the movie instead, so I got a little spoiled. But thankfully, I guess, the 5th movie is like the least like the book as possible. So yeah, but anyway, that was the time when I started reading Harry Potter, and let me tell you, that got me hooked into reading. It was the first like actual big book that I read that kind of was part of a series and was part of a big thing, and it was just so magical. Like I said, oh, I didn't put that video up. Never mind. So it just really, it was so magical, and it made me love reading even more. And from that point on, I started reading a lot more often. In fact, that fall, so the fall of my 6th grade year, I read Percy Jackson, and again, that just made me read or love reading more. And let me tell you, if I had read Percy Jackson before Harry Potter, that probably would have made me love Percy Jackson more. But because I associate me finally getting into like bigger books was with Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter just slightly more, but yeah, don't need to get into that. That's something for another time. But yeah, so I started reading more often. I remember one of my friends, we would go to the library together, and we would kind of pick out a number of books, and then I remember one time we even like shared a book. Like I would read a chapter, then I'd give it to her to read that chapter, and then we'd keep on giving it back and forth, and that was really nice. I really like that. I want to do that with someone else. I need to find a friend to do that with. But yeah, that was nice. So I really utilized the library. Then also in 6th grade, I joined Reading Olympics, which if you don't know, it's not really like Jeopardy, but there are questions and you have to give answers, and it's about a specific list of books, and you work in a team. So really not like Jeopardy at all, but yeah, you work in a team, and like you're supposed to give each person a couple of books from that list, so that way all the books are read, which didn't really happen every year, but we tried. So yeah, and then we would go to that event in like April, and we'd compete by, again, answering questions about each book. And yeah, I did that from 6th grade to 12th grade, and I loved it so much. Again, that kind of fed my competitive spirit. Because yeah, we got top 3, or at least one, first place, second place, or third place for 4 out of the 6 years I did it. Oh, 4 out of the 7 years I did it. Sorry, my math is not good. But yeah, that made me really competitive. And my senior year when I was captain, we got 2nd place. We tied for 2nd place, I think. So that really made me happy, because the 3 years before that we kind of did not do very well. So, but yeah, I really liked that, because that was a way to find different books, whether it be older books or newer books. It was just a nice way to find books. And I kept the lists. They're at my house now. They're not in Scotland with me, but yeah, I kept them, so that way eventually at some point when I have free time I can go back and read the books, because I remember liking a lot of the books that I read. Like, let me see, what was one of the books? I know The Hunger Games was on it once. I'm pretty sure Aragon might have been on it one year, which, let me tell you, that was a big read. What is that Cynthia Voigt book? Homecoming. That book was on it, and I love that book. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, it just had so many books, like of so many different genres, and it was just an amazing way to find books. Again, I kind of wish there was something like that now, like a competition for people to read books. That would be really cool. I should start something. I don't know how, but I should, because that was a lot of fun, and it was just fun being in a room with like other book lovers. So that was nice. And I guess here I am now. I still love books. I don't read as much as I used to, because of course college is kind of taxing, and I have other books I need to read. And I know I'm not as hardcore of a reader as some of these other booktubers, because they read like, what, 19 books a month? I wish I could do that, but I just don't have the time for it. But I still love books. Books have always been there for me. They've been a friend when I needed it to be. It's been a way to get out of reality just for a little bit, and I love it. So yeah, that's kind of my history of reading. I guess I could at some point do a list of like my favorite books throughout the years. I think I could do that, but that'll be for another video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you got into reading or your history of reading, because I find that really interesting to see why people write or like what got them into reading. I think it's cool, and at least for me, it's a big part of who I am, because I've always been a reader, and I just love reading. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed this. The next video I post will probably be my spoiler review for Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. So if you want to see that, stay tuned, because it should be coming up soon. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye! If I can reach the camera.